Not to sound overly dramatic, but I am in the process of changing my life in several ways, and I wanted to share my journey with you. Hi, my name is Sarah, and if you're new here, I make videos about personal style and learning to love my handmade wardrobe. In today's video, it's a bit of a two-parter. In the first part, I thought I would share with you some of the things that I purchased off of my wish list. I did a video last year about some items I was thinking about purchasing, and I did get some Christmas money. So I just thought I would check in and share with you the things that I actually bought. And then in the second part of the video, I'm going to update you on some things that have been going on in my personal life. There's been a variety of things happening with my wardrobe, with my general approach to life. And so I thought I would update you on those things as well. So like I said, I did get some money for Christmas, and so I went ahead and purchased three things that were on my wish list. I can't remember if some of you had recommended this brand to me in the comments, and if you did, thank you so much. But I did some more research and I read a lot of reviews, but I saw some really favorable recommendations for Guggenheim for cutting tools, and they were a little bit cheaper than the Kai scissors. So I went ahead and purchased the 9-inch shears, which I will get them out and show them to you. They come in this cardboard box, and then they do have a little bit of a plastic sheath to put them in. If I do have a negative about these, I do think the packaging is not very sturdy and isn't going to last very long. I know that when I got my Ginger scissors back in 2005 or whatever, they had a very sturdy, like plastic sheath that was definitely going to last. This one's certainly very flimsy. But on the other hand, because the cost was significantly less than the Kai's, I do kind of understand maybe why they cheaped out on the packaging. But at any rate, these are the 9-inch shears, and I really like these. I've used them already, and they're very comfortable to hold. They're very sharp. They cut very easily. So I was really, really satisfied with this purchase. And then I'm not going to get them out, but I also purchased the pinking shears, which I really love these. I decided that I probably, at least right now, I don't need both duckbill scissors and pinking shears, so it was one or the other. I decided to go for the pinking shears because I thought they might be a little bit more versatile. And I have already used these on a sewing project. It was able to easily cut through corduroy, and I think I'm really going to get a lot of good use out of these pinking shears. I did buy one other item from my wish list, and I also just want to say that I do still want some of those other things that were on the wish list in that video, but I'm just not rushing to buy everything all at once. I'm going to acquire things slowly over time as I need them. These three things were the most important to me that I wanted to prioritize, and also that fit into my budget with the funds that I had available. So the last thing that I got was I did get the Clover Hot Hem Tool. I ordered this from Amazon, and they actually accidentally sent me three. And when I contacted customer service, they told me to just keep them. So I do figure that having two is probably good. It's not a horrible idea to have a backup, but I don't need three. And so I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with the third one. I might donate it or give it away at some point. But I have been using this. It's actually pretty dirty. I am realizing that little bits of things stick to it because it's like a felt material. I've really liked using this so far. The only thing is the first time that I used it, I was an idiot and my fingers got a little bit too close to the iron and I did kind of burn my finger with the steam. That was just a total like stupid thing on my part. I should have known better. But I have really enjoyed using this tool, so I think this was a good purchase, and I may eventually go back and get one of the ones that's made out of silicone that you can do curved edges with. I think that could be useful at some point. But for now, I'm just going to keep this one and use it, and I'm glad to have a backup as well. So those were all of the items that I purchased from my wish list, and before we get to the second part of the video, I will share with you what I'm wearing. This striped shirt is a cotton linen blend. It's just a ready-to-wear shirt that I've had since 2020. I'm wearing a sweater that I knit, I think in 2023, from the book A Fine Fleece. This is one of my favorite sweaters. Then I have on my Closet Core Jude jeans that I really love and my Adidas Sambas. If you enjoy my content and you would like to support my channel, I would really love it if you'd give me a thumbs up because it helps YouTube to share my video to a bigger audience. And please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for your support. Now, in terms of my life updates, let's start out talking about my wardrobe. In my wrap-up videos last year, I did mention in one of them that I just felt like my closet was too big, that I had too many clothes. I didn't have enough days in the year to wear everything that I wanted to wear. I wasn't able to repeat my favorites. And so since the start of 2026, I've been slowly removing things that I'm ready to get rid of. I've donated things, I've given things away, I've sold some things, and so far, as I'm filming this in the beginning of February, I already have gotten rid of over 200 items from my wardrobe. Now, that does include everything from clothing items to shoes to handbags to jewelry to other kinds of accessories. I do still have a long way to go because I have not done a whole lot with my spring and summer wardrobe. I kind of want to wait to declutter those items until we're actually in that season so that I can try them on and decide if they're a good fit for me or if I want to declutter them at that time. But I do feel like my winter wardrobe is in pretty good shape, and because I've gotten rid of so many things, I was able to get all of my spring and summer clothes out of storage and actually hang them up. I have the world's tiniest closet, so my entire wardrobe is probably never going to fit into one closet, but I was able to put my winter clothes in my bedroom, and then I have my summer clothes in this room. So everything is out and more accessible, and I can see it. So I'm really happy about that. I've already styled a few of my more summery things for winter, and I'm really happy to have that as an option. When things were put away in a suitcase and put in another room, it was just way too hard to go through it and get things out. But now I do have everything easily accessible, and I think that is a very positive improvement. Now, I have noticed a few things about my wardrobe and my personal style since I have made this change. The first thing that I've realized is that having a smaller collection of items does mean that things are going to wear out faster and they'll need to be replaced. So, an example of that is that I majorly decluttered my loungewear wardrobe. Like, first of all, a lot of my loungewear items I had made back in 2020 or 2021, and they were really worn out, and it was time to let them go. So, I did end up decluttering down to the point where I only have 4 sweatshirts, and then I kept 2 loungewear bottoms. I have like a pair of yoga pants, and then I had a pair of like looser wide leg pants. And then I also have my denim overalls, which is a big part of my loungewear. And that's my entire collection. I got rid of everything else. So what I noticed was obviously since I have a lot less, I'm going to be wearing those things more frequently, which means that they're going to wear out more. But what I realized was that that's a much better system to have a fewer number of pieces. And then when things wear out, I can just replace them with something new and refresh my wardrobe at that time when it needs it, rather than having dozens and dozens of sweatshirts and sweatpants that only get worn a few times a year. And then the rest of the time, I just have to store them. And like I said, I don't really have all that much space. So the endless options that I had in the past were just more overwhelming than anything, and they really weren't necessary. So the loungewear is just one part of my wardrobe, but I've done something similar with a lot of other aspects of my wardrobe, and I do feel like it makes a lot more sense to have fewer options that will eventually need to be replaced. And that just makes more sense for me than having many, many, many things that I don't wear that much. Secondly, I just wanted to clarify something that I got some comments from people in my other videos that I realize now that maybe I wasn't expressing myself very clearly. I had some people asking me why I force myself to wear things that I don't like. I just wanted to clarify that I don't make myself wear clothes that I hate. Like, that's not the thing. But you know how where you have certain items in your wardrobe that are almost perfect? You know, everything's great except maybe the fit is a little bit off, or maybe the fabric's a little bit itchy, or there's just something about it that doesn't make you feel really great. And then you have other items in your wardrobe that every time you put them on, they make you feel like a rock star. Like it just feels perfectly you, it fits you great, it just really feels wonderful on your body. And so there's always going to be those certain superstar items in your closet and then ones that you don't like as much. And I was prioritizing wearing everything rather than focusing in on the items that I love the most. And I just wanted to do like a priority shift. Like I wanted to go through my closet and get rid of the things that just weren't quite right. Most of the items that I've gotten rid of, there wasn't just one thing wrong with it, there was multiple things. So maybe like the color wasn't quite right for me and it didn't fit that well. And so those are the things that I prioritize, and just getting rid of those items that just were not quite perfect so that I'd have more space to wear the things that are perfect. And I've already noticed the difference this winter that I've been able to reach more for the things that I really love, that make me feel beautiful, that make me feel special. It's not that I had a closet full of clothes that I thought were ugly and I was forcing myself to put them on. I just want more time and space to wear the things that I really love. The third thing that I've noticed about my wardrobe is that in the past, I think that I've had an unrealistic expectation for how long I wanted my clothing to last. Like whenever I made something new or if I brought something into my wardrobe, I would say to myself, well, I want this to last for at least 5 years. And now I've made the realization that 5 years is probably just not realistic. My body size has changed quite significantly in the past 5 years. My lifestyle has changed. My personal preferences change. And so I kind of want to do a mindset shift and not be so focused on, am I going to keep this for at least 5 years? And just focus more on, am I going to wear this and love it and enjoy it to the point where I wear it out? That's what's more important to me rather than focusing on a strict number of years that I have to keep this thing Otherwise, it's not worth it. And the fourth thing about my wardrobe is that I have decided to put a pretty strict one in, one out policy. So, for example, if I make myself a new blouse, then I need to get rid of an old blouse. And part of that is because of my space limitations. Like, I basically have everything at max capacity right now. And so I don't want to continue to add things and have more things come into my closet and just get back to the place where I was before. I also think that this will be a positive development because it'll really make me think twice about adding new things into my closet. Because if I know that if I'm bringing in a new purse, then that means I need to get rid of an old purse. And if I get to the point where I love all my purses and I don't want to get rid of anymore, then do I really, really need to be adding a new one? So in the future, as I do videos about bringing in new items to my wardrobe, if I'm making something new, I'm going to share with you the item that I'm going to replace and why I've decided to let go of it. I just think that that might be a little bit of interesting information. And I am trying to keep it as kind of a one-to-one thing. So if I make a new sweater, I need to get rid of an old sweater and not like a pair of pants, if that makes sense. So those are all of my thoughts about my wardrobe that I had and how it's evolving and changing. I definitely think things are going to continue to change in 2026, but I think I'm headed in the right direction and I feel very positive and excited about my wardrobe this year. So now let's move on to the second life change that I wanted to talk about. And it was really prompted by my wardrobe. And that is just doing a general declutter of the things in my life. So a few things prompted this. My husband and I have recently started talking more about our future and what we're going to do when we retire. We are planning to eventually move out of the city into a more rural place. And it's very likely that when we move, we'll have a smaller house than we do now. And I started thinking about there's already so many things in this house that I know that I'm not going to want to move. And it's like, why wait until I retire to get rid of those things? I should just start getting rid of them now. I also just feel that I just have too many things and it's very overwhelming to keep organized and to keep clean. Just full disclosure here, I have always struggled throughout my life with having a messy house and not being able to maintain things and keep up with them. I have a lot of shame and guilt over that. I won't get into the specifics because this is not a therapy session, so you don't need to hear about my childhood. But it's just something that I've always really struggled with, and I've had a lot of shame surrounding it. And I've just come to the point of realizing that, like, this doesn't have to be my life. Like, I'm capable of change, I'm capable of being better. So I did start with my wardrobe, but when I got that to a pretty good place, I've moved on to going through all of the rooms in the house that have my stuff. I'm not going through and decluttering my husband's stuff. Like, that's his thing that he can tackle if he wants to. But for the spaces that I control, I've been going through them one by one and decluttering. And I've just been doing a little bit at a time. I try to do a little bit every day. And the days that I have more time, I try to tackle a little bit of a bigger project, but also doing it just slowly so that I don't get rid of things that I'm going to regret, and also just not trying to do everything all at once. I have years to accomplish this task if I need to, and that way it doesn't feel so overwhelming to me. So I'm kind of doing things in what I think of as three passes. So the first initial pass is just going through a space and getting rid of the trash and moving things that don't belong in that space to the space where it does belong. And then the second pass is sort of after some time has elapsed, living with the space, going back through everything again, and then ask myself, like, do I really need to keep XYZ? Like, I haven't used this. As an example, I did my bathroom early in January, and then at the end of the month, I went through again and said to myself, like, I have a curling iron that I never, never, ever use because my hair will not curl. Like, it just doesn't want to hold a curl. So I haven't used it in years. Like, why am I holding on to this thing? I'm never going to use it. So I went ahead and got rid of that in the second pass. And then the third pass is what I think of as once I have a space with things in it that I don't think that I want to declutter anything else, like these are the things that I want to have in this space, then I go through and I organize, get things arranged the way that I want. I've also been much better about cleaning up after myself as I go, which is embarrassing to admit, but it is truthful. Like, when I would finish a sewing project, a lot of times I would just be too lazy to put away my extra fabric and my pattern. And so it would just pile up, like projects would pile up for months. And it would just end up this big, cluttered, messy space with all these things that I haven't put away. Now I've been so much better about finishing a project and then just stopping at the end of the day and putting those things away so that everything is clean and fresh for me to start the next project. So I'm not saying that I'm perfect, and I definitely have a long way to go, but I've been making these changes over the past few months, and I feel really, really good about it. I feel like I'm on the right path. There are definitely going to be some hard decisions to be made. Like right now, I have started into my craft storage room, which is next door to this one. And I have a bunch of fabric and patterns and yarns that I need to get rid of. Like I know that I'm not going to want to use them. And I haven't quite decided yet what the best way is to go about doing that, whether I should try to do a destash or if I should just say F it and get rid of it and just donate it because I'm not sure that I want to deal with all of that. It's something that I'm still trying to figure out, but I am making a lot of progress and I just feel very, very good about it. It's just a little reminder to me that like I am capable of change. There's no reason why I have to be a certain way and just be like, well, I'm a messy person, so what are you going to do? If I'm not happy about it, I can do something about that. So I'm feeling really positive and I'm hoping to reap the benefits of this change as the year goes on and beyond. So the last major change that I wanted to share with you, I debated whether I should even talk about it in a video, but it is going to affect my wardrobe, so I do think that I want to go ahead and mention it. I do just want to say that I'm going to talk about weight loss, and so if that is not something that you're comfortable hearing, then I completely understand. Please feel free to click off of this video. In my next video, I will be sharing with you the first garment that I've sewn for myself in 2026. So thank you so much for watching this one, and I'll see you next time. But for the rest of you, before I get into talking about it, I do just quickly want to add a disclaimer that I'm not a medical professional. I've been very fortunate so far in life that I've had a very healthy existence. I haven't had a lot of health problems. And so, what I'm about to talk about may not work for everybody. And so, I definitely advise consulting your doctor if you want to talk to them about your own health. But one thing that has been going on for the past several years since I entered my 40s is that I've gradually been gaining weight over time. When I was younger, in my 20s and 30s, I could pretty much eat whatever I wanted and stay the same size. But as I entered my 40s, that just hasn't been the case. And I hate to frame it as talking about weight loss because that's not even what I'm really focused on, but I kind of don't know how else to frame it. But basically, my concern was that if my weight just keeps going up and up and up, then that's eventually going to cause me some issues with my health. And one thing that I've learned as I've been reading more about aging and menopause and those kinds of things is that taking care of your health in your 40s and 50s is so critical in terms of being in your 60s and beyond. And sometimes the way that you treat your body can be the difference between continuing to be mobile and active into your 60s and older versus being someone who's, God forbid, like bedridden or has a lot of issues with mobility. So I just really wanted to take better care of my health right now in order to reap the benefits later. So for the past few years, like I said, I've been steadily gaining weight and I've really struggled. Like I've tried to cut back on snacks. Basically, the old way was that I would eat 3 meals a day and then I would snack in between. I was basically eating every couple of hours. And so I would go through periods where it's like, okay, I really need to start cutting out the snacks and just eat at meal times. And I would try that, but I just really struggled with it. Like I would do okay for a week or two, and then I would just go back to my old habits. And I was not able to figure out a way to cut back my calories so that I would stop continuing to gain weight. So in early December, I decided to try out intermittent fasting just to see if it would work for me. I figured that it was not an invasive thing. It's not like I'm taking a drug or something. If it doesn't work, I can just quit and go back to my old ways. So I started very slowly. I started with the 12 hours of fasting and then the 12-hour window of being able to eat. And I've slowly whittled that down so that now I'm at the point where I eat 2 meals a day and I eat between the hours of 12:30 and 7, and then I don't eat outside of those hours. And honestly, I think that the main benefit for me has been psychological more than anything else because I can't explain it to you. Like, it doesn't really make any sense. But like I said in the past, where I really struggled, like cutting out snacks and not being able to snack. But for some reason, having that barrier where it's like, well, you're not allowed to eat until 12:30, it just makes it easier for me to say no to myself, to say that, like, no, I know that you're hungry right now, but you just have to hold out till 12:30 and then you can have your lunch or whatever. Whereas before it would be, 10:30 in the morning and it'd be like, yeah, I know I'm supposed to eat lunch at 12:30, but I'm just so hungry now, I can't say no. And so I'd have a snack. So since I've been doing it for about 2 months now, I've really noticed a lot of benefits. I have lost a little bit of weight, like not a ton. Up to this point, I've lost about 4.5 pounds, which I know may not sound like a lot, but also keep in mind that I'm 4'9", and so a little weight does kind of go a long way when it comes to my personal body frame. And again, it's not like I've been trying to have a goal weight or I'm not trying to lose 10 pounds or whatever. It's just more the fact that I want to stop the gains and I want to be more healthy. And so I think that intermittent fasting has been really useful for me. I was afraid in the beginning that I would feel like I didn't have enough energy. I do work out usually 4 to 5 days a week, and I haven't changed that. That's stayed the same. And I was worried that on the days that I work out that I might not have enough energy to do my workout, but I haven't found that to be the case at all. In fact, I mean, I don't want to go overboard and say that I'm just bursting with energy, but I do feel good. I feel like it's been a very positive development. And I have also started to notice a change in my clothing. Things that were tight back in November actually do fit me again now. So I do think that that's been a positive thing as well. And it is something that I'll have to keep an eye on going forward. If I do continue to lose more weight, again, I'm not trying to. It's not like I'm like, oh, I need to lose 5 more pounds. But if that does happen, then it will affect my wardrobe even more. So I'll just have to monitor that. But for now, I do think that is another positive change that has been going on in my life, and I'm planning to continue doing it. I feel really good at this moment in time. So those were all of the major life changes that I wanted to cover in this video. I know that it kind of sounds like it was all over the place, but I do think that maybe the overarching focus is like making small incremental changes a little bit at a time in a way that's going to have a positive effect on my life. And that for so many years, I would just do nothing because it just felt like too much work to accomplish all at once. But by breaking things down into small steps, it's just really working out well for me. And I just wanted to share that with you in case it might help someone else to think of things in that way as well. So thank you so much for joining me for this video. Like I said, next week we're going to be talking about my very first make for myself of the year. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your support, and I will see you in the next one.